We are back with the Lights Out podcast. Very excited. First weekend of May already in the books. Very big repercussions from this weekend in the world of boxing. Very excited to go over the May matchups of the month. And we're very excited to go over other announcements that have taken place since our last episode. So we got my boy Ant here. Very excited to talk about this fallout because we had two big shows this past weekend. First one, man, out of the Tokyo Dome, we had Naoya Inoue defending the undisputed junior featherweight championship against Junto Nakatani, the number 3 junior featherweight in the world. I mean, both of these guys are pound for pound. So there's big fights and then there's super fights. There's super fights that, as an American, you wake up at 4 in the morning for, and this was one of them. Inoue versus Nakatani. And what did you think about Inoue's performance here, showing that he can handle the very best that anyone has to throw at him?
I mean, this is just classic Inoue, dude. We, I think he handled Nakatani very well. I think he fought the way he usually fights. He was very, his precision, his punching was very precise. It was very on point. Um, his control of the distance was really good too. He dictated where the fight should go. He didn't really fall into Nakatani's bait. And this was the thing. This was the best way I can describe this fight. Very chess match, very technical, because it was clear neither fighter wanted to give an inch, and that's the thing I like about both of these guys. And I think, if anything, this fight proved that Inoue is definitely the number one guy in that pound for pound list right now.
Very hot take for sure. Um, a lot of people are saying that though, and I think it's more than fair. I may not be ready to say all that yet, even if I want to, because I love Inoue. Like, he's a fantastic boxer, super dominant, and just at a time where boxing was getting real boring, I feel like Inoue really grabbed my interest. Um, and it was great to see this Tokyo Dome sold out for Inoue versus Nakatani. It was a good fight. Nakatani did get his licks in. I honestly wouldn't mind if they ran it back at some point. Not sitting here saying they have unfinished business necessarily, but I wouldn't mind seeing this again.
Well,
Like, why not?
because there's two options here where you can think of right now. The obvious one is Bam Rodriguez versus Inoue, and I believe they're trying to get that one set up as I speak, as we're filming. But also,
Yeah, I mean, Bam has already came out and said he wanted to fight Inoue. Um, he's moved up to bantamweight. He's got to get one more up to junior featherweight. And with him just moving to bantamweight, I'm like, give him a couple fights at bantamweight before he comes up to junior featherweight. Um, then again, he said he wants to do it. I would love to see it, and it kind of feels like a now or never thing, right? Because I think Inoue wants to move up too. Like, eventually, he's 33. I imagine he wants to move up. Um, yeah, I think if you give Bam a little bit of time at bantamweight, and you have Naoya fight Nakatani one more time, why not?
right?
Really, why not? But
Yeah,
also,
well,
yeah, if we get Bam versus Naoya, I'm not freaking complaining at all. That is the fight. And it's kind of one of those situations where, yeah, the sooner they book it, the better. But it feels like they have a little more time than people are making it out to seem like.
yeah. Because the thing is, as well as like you gotta can take this in consideration that they're both in their prime. They still got a lot to prove. Obviously, like this isn't a. I mean, this is a fight we definitely need, but we don't need it like right now. Basically, if that makes any sense. That's one. Yeah, I'm fine with another Nakatani rematch for Inoue, but I would like to see the Bam fight like as soon as possible. I mean, you're probably right. Maybe Bam does need one more fight, and then he gets Inoue. But I mean, I don't know, man. I think this is you have two options here. You really do.
Yeah, I think Inoue is gonna try and fight Bam before he moves up for sure. And if they do that right away, then they do that right away, and then Bam can go back down to bantamweight or whatever. So it can go either way, really. But nonetheless, it was just fantastic to see Inoue and Nakatani. Like that was, put it this way, I was very tired watching this. Very early in the morning. It was on Japanese time, coming out of the Tokyo Dome. Um, I was tired, but like I didn't regret it. It was a very fun fight, even if folks are saying like they were really trying to figure each other out. You know what I mean? Like, yes, like later in the fight, they did start swinging on each other pretty well, but it opened up so slowly. And I think that part just told me, I was like, dude, these guys need to jump back in again. Like, I don't know. We'll see. Later that day, what an abundant day for boxing. May the 2nd was, right? 3 days before Cinco de Mayo. If you're a real one, you get up and watch the Inoue fight. And then later, hours later, you have the PBC along with Golden Boys Cinco de Mayo show coming out of Las Vegas. Ultimately, David Benavidez headlined this event, defeating Zurdo Ramirez for the WBA and WBO Cruiserweight Championship in his first fight at Cruiserweight, getting the knockout here. Benavidez proves just to be something special. I mean, goodness, those hands are dynamite, man. I have never seen a big dude throw hands that quickly. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts.
Oh yeah, a guy like
Benavidez is like the devil. He's like the boogeyman. Like you do not want to get in his way.
no
And
God, no.
Zurdo,
That's
somebody that we thought could hang in there a little more than maybe he did, was going to be a big test for him. Like I was not looking past Zurdo with Benavidez. Honestly, I thought he would get more licks in, but Benavidez just shows us that he's that guy. What are your thoughts on the main event of the Cinco de Mayo show, man?
I mean, I'm gonna kind of like throw your words back at you, man. Like this is God, man. Like a guy like him should not move like the way he does. There's no fucking way. Like, holy hell, dude. Like, though I've never seen a cruiserweight in my life throw multiple punches in one shot. Like, usually that's only like you only see that like in movies, man. But like, dude, like this dude's legit, man. And I thought, dude, going into this fight, I thought Zurdo was gonna like really have Benavidez's number, because I mean Zurdo's fought the best of the best, of course, and he's obviously way more experienced at championship fights than Benavidez is. But man, dude, like this was as dominant and as much of a statement as you could ever want if you're David Benavidez. And honestly, I even texted you this on Saturday. I said, if I'm Dimitri Bivol, man, I hit the gym real quick, man, because man, he doesn't know. Dimitri Bivol's seen Bertabiev and a few others, but I don't think he's ever seen anything like David Benavidez, man. Like this dude is the boogeyman. This dude is like the man at cruiserweight, like no doubt. And we can argue Opataya as well, but if I have to like say like right now, I would definitely say the man at cruiserweight is David Benavidez.
Yeah. The fun question is what comes next, because honestly, we're gonna get what my theory is, we're gonna get Benavidez fighting twice a year as a cruiserweight and then as a light heavyweight. Like you think he's actively gonna deke and dunk. I think he's crazy enough to do that. And all the more power to him. So I think the Bivol fight is next. I don't know, because I can see a lot of people trying to duck him. Like Canelo himself ducked him,
Yeah, of
right?
course.
Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get Canelo versus Benavidez. You can count that one on Canelo's record. You know what I mean? But like the big fight long term, I think is definitely Opataya, right? Two undefeated guys, somebody's O's got to go. But I think there's a lot of crazy shit that we can do before we get there. I think it will happen. I think Turkey's going to put that money up. It won't be a Zuffa event, but it'll be for all the titles. I don't know, man.
It's so weird, isn't it?
They'll
Because
figure out how to do it. I know
it's
it's weird with Zuffa now, but they'll
no, it
figure
really.
out how to do it.
But I think like no matter how you slice it, man, like this is probably like I've never seen I've never seen anything like this, man. Like I think like I didn't like I think going into this, right? Like we both knew that this was gonna be a very Mexican style, right? Like these guys were gonna give it their all, but I didn't think Benavidez would like really like take it to Zerto like that, man. I thought Zerto really would have hung in there a little bit more, but dude, I've never you can't do it. It's impossible like to see you have it's. I think now like it's Benavidez is that guy, dude. Like we can't really say much. I mean, we could say Opataya too, but God, man, like, dude, what a fucking fight! Like, I have
That's the
Benavidez.
one, bro. That's the big fight. That's the long-term fight where everyone's like, that's the one that has to happen within the next 2 to 3 years, even. You
Yeah,
know, I think closer to 2 than 3 would be nice, but I think it'll come. I think Opataya's got his hands full at Zuffa, and we'll get there. We'll get
yeah,
there for
we'll get
sure.
there.
Zuffa's done a good job with that. In the co-main of this Cinco de Mayo show, we had Jaime Munguia defeating Armando Resendez by decision to become the new WBA super middleweight champion. Munguia, somebody that I thought fought Canelo very well, somebody that I'm a big fan of. I don't think people give Jaime Munguia enough credit, and finally he gets his star-making moment on the Cinco de Mayo undercard here. I know Canelo was hyped to see it. I was hyped to see it. What did you think about Munguia getting this WBA super middleweight title? And what do you think about the potential of Munguia versus Canelo too?
Well, let me start out by saying this, man. I think Munguia really got back on his bike, man. I think that this was a he needed this win. I think more than a lot of people realize, man, because this is he hadn't. I don't think he had a title. I believe he had like one title going into this, correct? Or did he not have any at all?
Munguia hadn't had a world title since like 2018 or something when he was
Right.
younger.
Yeah. So
Um,
this is
but
something you. This is
yeah,
something
go ahead.
like this is something Munguia absolutely needed. Like he needed another title to at least like to really stake his claim as like an elite fighter, man. And I think he really proved it against Renzinez, man. I do think Canelo versus Munguia could happen again. I mean, we'll have to really wait and see. I mean, I think now that Munguia's gotten a bit of his swagger back, and I think maybe we can get another fight between those two. And I think Munguia did fight really well against Canelo as well. I thought he really hung in there. He didn't fall for a lot of Canelo's like. I mean Canelo's Canelo, right? So I mean, we can't like. I mean, we can't really like critique like anything from him. But Munguia, man, I thought he hung in there with Canelo, and I think I could really see that fight happening again. And I liked if we really compare the two fights, this fight and then the Canelo fight. One thing I learned is definitely the pressure from Munguia, man. He stayed aggressive this whole fight, and he didn't, and he really walked Armando down, man. Like it was beautiful to watch.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, he just had an excellent showcase of his abilities, and I'm very excited to see what the future has in store for Munguia. I think this was a crowning moment. I think you're completely correct in that he needed it, and I'm very excited to see what comes of this title reign of his because I'm sure this is his legacy, right? Like this is he's getting to that point. He's in his prime, but he's not a spring chicken anymore. I think we remember young Munguia as like a young dude, you know what I mean, a very young dude, but he's not that anymore. And this WBA super middleweight title is like years in the making for him, and it's time. It's put up or shut up. Like this is his run. He'll probably see Canelo again. I hope so. At least that'll be a good fight. I want to see it. Other fights that took place on the Cinco de Mayo card that was brought to us by PBC and Golden Boy was Oscar Duarte defeating Angel Fierro questionably by decision. by confusing decision, I will say, for the WBC silver super lightweight title. Try saying that 5 times fast. Just goes to show you how silly the sanctioning bodies can be. Try saying that 5 times fast. Anywho, um, I know you have feelings about this fight. Obviously, we probably feel the same way about it. But what do you think, man?
Oh man. I mean, what can I really say, man? This is one of the weirdest decisions I've ever seen. Like, I'm because I didn't want to go there because that maybe sounds dramatic, but it's clear that the judges completely were watching a completely different fight, man. Like than everybody else in the building. It was, dude. Even from like the opening bell, like Fierro was the one pressing and really
It was
like
shady. It's because he didn't make weight. That's literally why.
that's one of the worst excuse, like one of the worst reasons to literally give Duarte this win. Like just because Angel missed weight, like that's what we're doing now. Like, come on, man. Like, dude,
Yeah, man. It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. I thought that was whack too. Hey, man. But before this fight, Tito Sanchez and Jorge Chavez, excuse me, had a freaking war, a
what a
junior
fight.
featherweight war. Hours after we saw a junior featherweight war in the Tokyo Dome, man, we saw a junior featherweight war in Vegas. Tito Sanchez getting the win here, eking it out with the TKO. This was a closer fight than a lot of people realize. You know, that TKO came in the last round. Such a good fight. And then to open up the main card, we have Ismael Flores as he defeated Isaac Lucetto. And this fight actually under Flores unified the WBL Latino and WBA Continental middleweight titles. WBA is mid card titles, I guess. I don't, it's all about the world titles up in here. But anyway, this was an excellent undercard, full of war, getting that war between Sanchez and Chavez. You know, Duarte and Fierro was a good fight, even if they picked the wrong winner, really. And yeah, this is just the beginning of an amazing month of May that we're about to get in the sport of boxing. Really goes to show you the advances that boxing has made in the past like 12 to 18 months. Because that's not a lot of time, right? 12 to 18 months in the long run. But I mean, goodness, we are just having ourselves an excellent week and an excellent summer of boxing. Like, it feels, you could feel it in the air that there are big fights being made. Thank you, Mr. Al Sheik. Anywho, next weekend, man, we got another big DAZN Ultimate show, right? We had the PBC one for Cinco de Mayo, and then we have Fabio Wardley taking on Daniel Dubois for the WBO heavyweight title. Don't blink is what they're saying with this one. And this one's going to be awesome. There are other fights. There's Jared Anderson versus Solomon Dakers. There's Jack Rafferty versus Ikao Usman. Liam Cameron versus Bradley Rhea, and Khalil Majid versus Gavin Gwynn. There's a couple good fights in there, right? But ultimately, we are tuning in to see Wardley versus Dubois, a top 4 heavyweight matchup. You know, Usyk's been kicking everyone's ass, so it's been really hard to get excited for heavyweight fights, to be honest with you. I mean, we had the Deontay Wilder one last month, and that one was fun for what it was, but this is a big fight right here. Wardley versus Dubois, WBO heavyweight title. We'll see what this does. I know that Usyk and Kabayel are rumors for later 2025, but if Wardley wins in his first defense with that WBO heavyweight title, I wouldn't mind seeing Wardley and Usyk. You know, we don't have much time with Usyk left, so we got to be careful. It's got to be very strategic. And honestly, Kabayel would be a safe bet. But nonetheless, man, yeah, this fight has a bit of the Usyk like effect on it of like who's gonna fight Usyk after. But ultimately, within itself, it's a good ass fight. These are two badass dudes. Are you
Oh yeah.
excited for this one, man?
Oh, absolutely, dude. There's a lot of stakes. There's a lot of stakes that people don't realize, man. And not only, and I think the Usyk thing is the main one, man. Like the title is, or the main event is very interesting because you have Wardley who can maybe maybe face Usyk. I mean, Dubois already lost to Usyk already. If Dubois wins, man, here's how I play. Here's how I'm gonna play it out. If Dubois wins, we don't need a rematch with Usyk. I don't know. Maybe he can fight. I don't know, somebody. But I think if Wardley wins, then I think yes, then we get the Usyk fight. Because I mean, if you really think about it, if I'm the promoters or if I'm the Usyk's management, I would not want to fight Daniel Dubois again because you really have nothing to prove against him. But if you want to face Wardley, and if Wardley comes through, I think that's the fight to make, man. That has to be the fight to make. And
It could be a situation where the winner of this goes and fights Caballel, and then the winner of that might fight Usyk. Something,
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I think we talked about it last episode, didn't we? We said like that the winner of Wardley and Dubois would probably fight Caballel, and I did say, and I have like little keys here. If I'm Wardley for this fight, you're gonna have to drown Dubois out with pace, and you're gonna have to force him to really push the pace, and you're gonna have to break him like really late in the rounds. And as for Dubois, man, you got to keep it short. That land that right hand early. You cannot get trapped on the ropes because we saw that last time. Saw that in his last fight and didn't work out for him. So we need to see the old Dubois a little bit.
Yeah, man, definitely. It'll be a fun fight nonetheless, man. Also happening next weekend, we will be plenty occupied, is UFC 328 and then Zuffa Boxing 6. So let's get into these, man, because we got some interesting fights here for both shows. Before we get to the two title fights of UFC 328, we have Alexander Volkov taking on Waldo Cortez Acosta. We have Sean Brady facing Joaquin Buckley, King Green versus Jeremy Stevens, right? So pretty across the board. You got a welterweight fight, heavyweight fight, and lightweight fight. And then in our co-main, Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira for the UFC Flyweight Championship. And then, of course, this main event that will be good fun. Like, this is definitely going to be some good fun. We do have Khamzat Chimaev taking on Sean Strickland, defending the UFC Middleweight Championship. I would say I'm excited for UFC 328. This is going to be great. Van is fantastic. You know, Strickland versus Chimaev makes sense. Yeah, man. Good undercard, right? We have in the heavyweight division, we have a number 2 taking on a number 4, Volkov versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Ranked versus ranked in the welterweight. Like, this is a pretty solid numbered event. Not all the numbered events have had consistency the way that UFC used to kind of have it. And that's kind of the price we pay now that, you know, the fights are free on Paramount Plus. But ultimately, hopefully they continue to find a good balance. I'm not going to complain about this card because it's fantastic. I'm very excited for it. But there have been other fight nights and other UFC numbered events where I'm like, I don't care.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, there was actually an event this past weekend during the 24 hours of boxing. Madalena and who was it, Prates? And Prates just basically kicked the shit out of Madalena. But we don't have to worry. We're not here to talk about that. So I'm gonna be honest, man. Like this card, looking at this card, it actually it's pretty stacked. I mean, it's a pretty good card. And if I like, and here's the thing with Sean Strickland fights, and this has always been a critique of mine. Either he sells the way he sells it, man. It's gonna be a war. It's gonna be all this and that, and either one of two things happens: either he underdelivers or he overdelivers. And I don't know, man. I don't know how to call the main event. I really don't have.
For me, that's what makes it fun. Is like I could see. I'll probably say I don't know, man. Like part of me leans towards Chimaev, but like you just can't count Strickland out. You really can't.
Remember is Strickland fights at a very awkward style. Like his style is so awkward. Like Duplessis had a hard time with him. Adesanya had a hard time with him. Like he's gonna have to use that to his full advantage, like his full strength. He's gonna have to use that awkward style that he has, and if he can do it, then I mean, hey man, all the power to him. I think he could be a real tough test, but he has to use that awkward style that he has.
I mean, I feel like this middleweight division was fantastic. Duplessis and Chimaev kind of wiping the floor with Duplessis really
Yeah.
made us wonder if this middleweight title was going to just kind of go into obscurity on Chimaev, and Chimaev was just going to dominate. But this Strickland and Chimaev matchup is really amazing. It's really good. And I think, yeah, it's a coin flip. I'm not even going to make a call. Like, I lean towards Chimaev. I really do. But I'm not even going to make a call on this one. It's going to be a good fight.
Even co-main event, dude, like Joshua Van and Tyra, dude, like obviously we saw what Tyra did to Brandon Moreno, so imagine what he's gonna do to Joshua Van, man. Like obviously,
yeah,
Joshua
man,
Van won
we
the
might get
title
a new champ here
in a very weird way too. Like you got to remember, he won it off of an injury, in a very unfortunate injury from Pantoja, but this is gonna be his real first test, I think, man. I think Tyra, man. Tyra might do it, man. But this again, it's another close fight to call because I mean,
it's kind of this numbered event is really meant to sizzle us for the White House card.
Yeah,
that's kind of what they're doing. Is they're like, look at this card. Remember how much fun you have watching UFC when it's at its best. And I feel like it's at its best right here with UFC 328. It really is. Can't complain. I'll give a credit where credit is due. And Zuffa 6 is something I'm almost equally excited for. I'm pretty excited for Zuffa 6 just because if you've been watching, then you're familiar with a fighter in every fight of the main card, right? You got Misal opening up the show against another undefeated middleweight, Andreas Katsourakis. And then in the co-main, you have Julian Rodriguez returning to take on James Pereira, who's another undefeated guy. And then, of course, Serhii Buhachuk, who we saw in Zuffa 2, is main eventing against Shane Mosley Jr. So it's really it's a big task for each returning member. It's like, all right, let's see what you're about now. Like Bohachuk versus Mosley, that's a huge ask out of Bohachuk. You never know. He might. I'm definitely leaning towards Shane Mosley gets the W in the main event for sure. But Bohachuk is scrappy, man. He fights like with his heart on his sleeve, and he's fun to watch. I'm very excited for this fight. It's gonna be a great fight. I know Zuffa is not Dubois versus Wardley, but they do their thing. They definitely do their thing. They carve out something that we didn't know we wanted to see in a weird way. I'm sure they'll get more up in the rankings soon enough. Maybe some victories from Bohachuk, Rodriguez, or Julian or Misal. Any of these three guys that are returning, maybe a victory here gives them a ranking, like a very low ranking, in either middleweight or welterweight here. It's possible. Yeah, man. Julian Rodriguez has a big task against James Pereira, however you say it.
Yeah.
He's got a big task, man. He's got a huge freaking task. And then Misal does too. I'm hoping one of these two guys makes it out, but I think one will go down and one will win the fight. It'll be very shocking if both Misal and Julian kind of come out of this. They're kind of very sink or swim with how they're trying to build their stars, I think, which is really cool. Like, obviously, Julian and Misal are guys that Zuffa, kind of featured prominently in their inaugural event. These are guys that they are invested in heavily, and what better way to best get most out of your investment than to let iron sharpen iron, and that's what we're going to see. It's going to be a proving ground. It's going to be freaking awesome. What do you think about Zuffa 6, man?
Great card, man. Great card. And I want to kind of like go back to what you said about Misal and Julian, man. Like Julian Rodriguez. Like I think ever since this podcast started, we've just become like huge fans of these two guys, man. Like these are gonna be tough tests for both of them, I think, man. When you really look at it, like
I said, man, I think one's gonna fall and one's gonna rise.
And
it's a coin flip on who falls and who rises. Like, it's crazy. I do think Mosley can handle Bohachuk, and I'm sure Bohachuk will keep it close.
I think Bohachuk is going to keep it close. I think because I mean you said it yourself that he's very scrappy and he has heart, man. And I think that's what's really gonna like bring. And he also the also thing too is the elite power, man. 24 KOs in his 27 wins, like, and he has finishing ability, man. Like, but on the other side, you have Shane Mosley who brings the IQ and the experience. So this is gonna be a really this is gonna be closer than I think a lot of people realize. This main event, I think if Mosley wants to win, he has to establish it. He has to survive the early storm, man, of Buhachuk, and he's got to drag him into deeper waters, into the deeper rounds. As for Buhachuk, you got to cut the ring early. Apply your pressure as soon as you can, and you have to force a stoppage here. You can't go to a decision. You have to get a knockout or a stoppage.
Yeah, man. And honestly, like almost halfway through the year, like seeing what Zuf has done at the almost halfway point, they're finding ways to make do. They're not, like they're not exactly going to take over as quick as Dana White says they're going to. So they're going to have to maximize what they've got. And I think this like card that doesn't even have a title fight on it, just every fight having some sort of significance and investment, early on is very telling to what this is going to look like. This is going to be a promotion where the fighters come back like pretty consistently, at least twice a year. Like these guys fought in January or February.
Yeah,
They're fighting again. Freaking May.
it's crazy, isn't it? And
Yes, like I think that some of the guys it's gonna be like UFC where everybody fights like twice a year. Some of the
yeah,
guys are crazy enough and they do fight 3 times a year.
and you
You know
got to
what I mean?
do though.
Like, and that's a good model for fighting.
Yeah, because I mean, when you really look at like the other promotions, like a lot of these big fighters don't, or like a lot of these younger guys don't fight once a year. Like it's rare that they fight twice within a span of a short couple months, and that's why like I like Julian, I like Misa, like these guys can really like they're gonna fight in short periods, and I mean, they don't. I mean, granted, they should. Maybe they shouldn't on certain after a while, because I mean that catches up to you. But I mean, for now, I mean, we can just sit back and enjoy it. And I feel like even without a title, this card is still good. As long as I'll say this, man, like even if there's no title on the line, just as long as there's like rankings or some stakes, it's a good card.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Very excited to talk about the future of Zufa in the next episode. See who survived their big challenge and who's ready for some gold, right? I think the third fight of Julian or Misal is gold, right? And as long as your Zufa champion is in the top 10 on Ring Magazine, I think that's enough. They're not all going to be Opatayas. You know what I mean? So they're not all going to be Ring Magazine champions, like dominant top of the division. Um, and that's kind of the point of Zufa, in my opinion. But nonetheless, man, we get back to the May matchups of the month here. Of course, we talked about Dubois and Wardley having their war next weekend, but the weekend after that, man, we have Keyshawn Davis taking on Nair Albright for a second time. Weekend after that is actually Ring Magazine's Glory in Giza event, right? Going to be just a amazing night for boxing, right? Out of the pyramids of Giza, Egypt. It's going to be great. This is where we're seeing the pound for pound guy, Alexander Usyk, taking on the heavyweight champion of actual kickboxing, right? Rico Verhoeven, which is kind of like a fun fight, right? Boxing versus kickboxing, the best of boxing versus the best of kickboxing. I
Yeah,
think it's fun.
and
The more I think about it, it's in it being in Egypt and kind of being historic and foundational. Like it's cool. It's cool.
because that's kind of where it all started for boxing, man. Because like we talked about in the last episode, I mean, I'm a bit of a history nerd. I mean, boxing really just started in Egypt, and the fact that they're going back to kind of where it all started is pretty cool. Giza, and especially Usyk, man, like your number, like the face of boxing, probably right now, like there's, I would not. This is probably the best time, bro. Like this is probably the best time to bring boxing back to Egypt, especially with Usyk on top. And the matchup too, man, kickboxing versus boxing too. Like,
It almost feels like a genesis event for like a new era of boxing. You know what I mean?
could be, man, could
It's
be.
like a genesis, like the best boxer versus the best kickboxer. Like, and then they do it again like 20 years later or something. I don't know, but it feels cool. This
Clash
is
of
a big Turkey Al Sheikh funded event here. It's really just a freaking, 3 fights from this main card are on the May matchups of the month that the Ring magazine has put out for May. We have, of course, Usyk versus Verhoeven for the Ring and WBC Heavyweight Championship. And then we have Hamza Shiraz taking on Alem Bajik for the vacant WBO super middleweight title. We have Shakram Giazov taking on Jack Catterall for the vacant WBA welterweight title. And then Frank Sanchez will be taking on Richard Torres Jr. I believe that's a heavyweight eliminator of some sorts. And then, let me be clear here. The Usyk and the Hamza Shiraz fight are on the list. And that third one that's on the list is a women's fight that will also be on the main card of Gloria and Giza. It's Mizuki Haruta taking on Mai Solomon for defending the Ring and WBO Junior Bantamweight Championship. So this card is absolutely stacked. 5-fight card. Unreal. Again, we are like 24 hours away from a Cinco de Mayo show that just happened. Right? 24 hours removed is what I mean. Talking about having UFC next weekend as well as a big top 4 heavyweight fight in boxing. And then we got Gloria and Giza the weekend after. I mean, goodness gracious. That's fantastic. What are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts as I'm at a loss for words?
I mean, I'm kind of with you, man. I mean, we're in a real resurgence, aren't we? Like, we have to admit it, man. We're in a real resurgence for boxing. Look, I mean,
People aren't quite realizing it yet, but yeah, it's happening for sure.
I mean, because I remember a few months. I mean, because I keep going back to a couple months ago where we were saying that that we thought boxing was dying for a little bit, and now that it's kind of been in a bit of a resurgence. Now we're kind of like back to the glory days almost. I think that's kind of the best way to put it. I remember we had talked about how we all believed that boxing was dying, and yep. I mean, now look at it where we are now, man. I think each card has something special to it. Each fight has something special about it. I think
it's funny how that just happened so fast.
it really did, didn't it?
But yeah, man, this is fantastic. I'm very excited to see this. It's definitely going to be a good vibes show with some good fights.
What a time to be alive, dude. What a time to be a fucking boxing fan, dude. And if you're not a boxing fan right now, dude, you better buckle up, man, because we're gonna bring you all these fights, man. We're gonna talk all about these fights, man.
Yeah, the way this is structured is really meant to be just an excellent companion for boxing as it comes and goes through the present. So stay locked in for sure. Let's go ahead and close out this May matchups of the month, man. Good time talking about it here. We have one more weekend. That is the weekend of the 30th. All of these fights are happening on the 30th. Dimitri Bivol will be fighting Michael Eifert, defending the Ring, WBA, and IBF Light Heavyweight Championship. I believe the WBO is also in there, because doesn't Bivol have every belt at light heavyweight except for Benavidez's belt, the WBC?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. I think Bivol fighting weeks after Benavidez is shown. Benavidez himself has said that he wants to fight Bivol. Like it is time for that fight too, even though Benavidez just went up to cruiserweight. But we do the Benavidez versus Bivol fight. I mean, shit, maybe Bivol moves up.
God,
that would be great. That would be good. I don't know. I could also see Benavidez coming back down, them having the big fight, the fight of light heavyweight boxing, and then Benavidez kind of operating out of cruiserweight after that, even if he is undisputed at light heavyweight. Or he works both, or he's active, or he's straight active, like I said earlier.
I think he should do both, man, because I mean
he can do both, and I think if he does it, he will be the face of boxing. Like
because it's beyond clear that like sorry to interrupt you, but like it's beyond clear now, especially the Zerto fight. It's obvious now that he can do both. He can do both light heavyweight and cruiserweight, and that's not an easy feat, man. I mean, only a very small amount of guys have ever done that before. I even think they talked about it on the actual broadcast that like what we saw, man, on Saturday night was basically history. I mean, well,
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, I could tell. Do you think Bivol will fight Benavidez as well, or do you think it'll be another dominance by Benavidez?
oh my god, bro, because this is hard, man. Because
Because this has every right. The Benavidez versus, I'm sorry, Bivol versus Eifert has every right to be a tune-up fight, and then we get the big one.
oh, this is definitely
Real.
a title fight. No question about it. I mean, obviously they're fighting in Bebo's home country, so it makes this is obviously going to be a clear tune-up fight. But I don't know, bro, because I mean, like, if we really look at it, like this matchup between Bivol and Benavidez, it's a coin flip, dude. Because obviously Bivol got his lost a had a little bit of a rough patch when he fought Arthur Bertabiev, and then obviously he would get his lick back. And here we are with David Benavidez making history, and Bevo's now having a tune-up fight. So I think they can. This fight is really it's closer to happening than I think we realize.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I can't.
it's kind of like Benavidez's last business besides Beterbiev in the light heavyweight division, right? And who's to say that Beterbiev or Bivol or both eventually at some point aren't all at cruiserweight at some point? That's kind of the thing. It's very possible that they stay at light heavyweight too,
I
but
do
you
think
just never know, man. You just never know.
no, and I think the thing is too, like, because we never got the trilogy match between Bivol and Bertabiev. Obviously, that fight's at one apiece. So I think like that's the fight. Like if we don't get Bivol versus Berta BF3, I think then I think we get Benavidez versus Bivol. Then it makes then we do the Benavidez fight because I mean again 1-1, dude. Bivol and Arthur Bertabiev are tied, and I think that we need the payoff, and then we can get the Benavidez fight. But I don't know, man. This is really it's God. It's hard, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So many options here.
Yeah, you also have Oshaki Foster taking on Raymond Ford for the WBC Junior Lightweight title on the 30th on a different card. And then you have the third MVP women's boxing event. You have Amanda Serrano versus Cheyenne Hansen defending the Ring WBA and WBO featherweight championship here. You have that on the list on a card that also has Stephanie Hahn versus Holly Holm for the WBA lightweight title. Of course, Desley Robinson versus Mary Spencer for the IBF and WBO middleweight titles, and Lourdes Juarez versus Yokasta Valle for the WBC junior flyweight title. You just got 4 solid title fights here on this main card for MVP Women's Boxing 3. Holly Holm fighting in one of them, and then Amanda Serrano being in the other. Those are really the big ones. Kind of just crazy that women's boxing is like kind of finding itself a permanent home on ESPN
It really
with
is.
most valuable promotions. Most valuable promotions was a promotion that I didn't enjoy watching their events, their Jake Paul fights,
Nope.
but I definitely think their work in women's boxing is kind of, in my book, like redeemed them as a promotion, really. And it just goes to show you that like the high tide is raising all the ships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The challenge of authority and the shifting of certain things is pushing boxing to be more honest. And you got somebody that's willing to dump as much money as there needs to be. So we're getting these nice things now, and we're a little more established, and we can look forward to fights. Like Benavidez's next 2 to 3 fights are going to be fantastic. He's got a lot of business to handle as a light heavyweight and a cruiserweight now. Like that just opens up the door. That swings the door right open. We get some pretty cool announcements, which I think we should get into. Right, Canelo will be fighting Christian and Billy for the WBC Super Middleweight Championship. So Canelo begins rebuilding at the super middleweight division, starting with Christian and Billy, somebody we thought that would be fitting for his next opponent. And if he can get past that, if he can get past Billy in September, Munguia is waiting for him. And that's a second fight that, I would love to see. Other announcements, man. Errol Spence returning to the ring against Tim Tszyu on July 25th. This is going to be the next PBC pay-per-view in July out of Australia. Tim Tszyu and Errol Spence Jr. And then Zuffa Boxing, man, announces a new location. All soon to be 6 events of Zuffa Boxing have been in the UFC Apex. Their gym in Vegas. People are calling it warehouse boxing events, and it definitely is a unique situation. But Zuffa Boxing will be going to the UK. Zuffa Boxing will be going to the UK. And they will be featuring their next big fight out of the UK. Welcome back. I know you had some technical difficulties.
Yeah. At this point, it's just gonna happen, bro. My internet is.
No, you're good. I just mentioned Errol Spence and Tim Tszyu, Canelo and Mbili, which is very exciting for obvious reasons. Canelo seemingly rebuilding at the super middleweight division.
Yeah.
But I'm actually getting into Zuffa's next big fight because Zuffa 7 will be the first ever Zuffa boxing event that is not at the UFC Apex. It'll be in the UK.
Oh, shit.
And it will feature a top 5 cruiserweight fight. Winner of this will probably be next in line to face Opataya. It will be Rosicki versus CBS. Chris Ballum-Smith versus Ryan Rosicki. This is going to be a huge cruiserweight fight. At the crew. This is what's wild, and I think Zuffa's crazy for this, like crazy good at least. Cruiserweight boxing feels like heavyweight boxing used to. Feels like the boxing division, right? You got Opataya, you got Benavidez, you got this big fight that's coming up at Zuffa 7. Going to be fantastic. Figure out who's next in line for Opataya. A deserving challenger is incoming for Opataya, which is cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, 3 big fights. You got Zuffa's if Opataya versus Glanton for the Zuffa Cruiserweight Championship was Zuffa's first big fight, then you got this basically cruiserweight eliminator that's going to be the next big fight.
Yeah, man.
Second big fight of their history.
I mean, what great announcements, man. I mean, it's incredible, man. Like, I think it's crazy, like how much evolving different divisions have done. Because I remember a year ago, like I was discussing how great heavyweight was, and how great like that old division was, and then of course you had middleweight as well. Like, but now it's all about the cruiserweights. It's like, whoa, like where did this come from? And then like as far as Tszyu versus Spence, man, long time coming, dude. A very long time coming. I think that fight is going to be absolutely amazing. I think it's very close call, very tough, very close fight because obviously Tszyu's coming off that. Who did he fight just recently? He fought. What's his name?
Put me on the spot here.
Oh, hold on. I'm just gonna pull it up.
No, I can remember. No, I can't.
Oh, Fundura. He lost to Fundura. That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
Fundura. So this can be a bit of a bounce back for him if he can beat Errol Spence. And then Canelo trying to rebuild. I mean, obviously we all saw what happened on Netflix. I mean, Bud Crawford basically took his soul. I mean, that was really cool. I was actually low-key. I wish that we did this a little sooner so we can talk about that one, but it's all right. I mean, dude, like just what a and the thing is, and Billy's no slouch either. Like really look like he has a pretty damn good. He's a pretty decent resume, but I mean, we got to see how he does against like arguably one of the best to ever do it right now. I mean,
With
and,
May being a big show, right? Pyramids and Giza event, Cinco de
yeah.
Mayo. September is looking like it's going to be another humongous show.
Oh yeah, dude.
Month.
Whole
Yeah, you
month,
know what I
dude.
mean, right?
Yeah.
You got Mayweather versus Pacquiao too, and then you have this upcoming fight between Canelo and Billy,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Canelo's big return, and then
Oh,
we'll see about Canelo versus Munguia, Cinco de Mayo, 2027.
Zuffa. I mean, the Zuffa card looks pretty good too. I mean, first time in
Yep.
the UK. I mean, and I would have not picked anybody else besides CBS, man. Callum Billum Smith, like, dude is an absolute monster. Like, and so is his opponent, man. Like, both of them are really really good, and especially since this is an eliminator as well, that adds even more stakes to it, obviously. But I
It's
think,
it's not officially an eliminator, but we know it's an eliminator,
oh, it's gonna
right?
be.
Like
Oh
there's
yeah,
no
no, I mean it can be an eliminator, and I think it probably will be. I mean, I think no matter what, I mean, the cruiserweight is probably the best it's ever been for like right now.
Yeah, I think Zuffa trying to dabble in that has a very small, like seriously, a very small role in that as well. Like kind of giving Opataya his corner, you know what I mean, and having feeding money into breeding, not breeding, but building challenges for Opataya. Um, yeah, man, good time, man. It's gonna be a good time. We got a crazy month, right? Next weekend we got UFC 328, Zuffa 6, Dubois and Wardley. Like that's a fantastic weekend right there.
Oh man,
Got
Woo!
Ronda Rousey fighting the weekend after, and then you got the Pyramids and Giza event, and then we get Bivol fighting, and
What a time, bro! What a time to be
yeah,
a combat sports fan, dude. Honestly, and I know we keep saying this because like, and it's
well, we
almost
have
become
to. It's
cliche.
amazing. Yeah,
But dude, what a time, dude! Because I mean, like, these all these different events coming up, man. Like, God, like Nate Diaz is gonna fight, Ronda Rousey's gonna fight. You got all the different boxing cards. You got the Giza card, man. Like, God, what a time to be alive, dude.
yeah,
And
bro.
it's always a pleasure doing this with you, my friend. Like, this is so much fun. Like, I love doing this.
Yeah, man. Likewise, I look forward to doing it next weekend, man. Talking about who
So,
came out UFC middleweight champ, who came out of Zuffa as a golden boy, essentially. Like
oh
we'll see
man,
what happens, man.
hey man, I don't know. You want to sign off, or you want me to do it?
Hey, man, sign it off. We'll talk to you next time.
All right, brother. So real quick, man, just want to give a shout out to my brother, my main man, my host right here, Mr. Matt, aka Wrestling's Bullshit. Want to give a shout out to San Antonio, man. Go Spurs, go! Want to shoot a shout out to the 210, my family. Rest in peace to the OG big dog, Mr. Carlos Carrasco. Yeah, and that's it, man. I'm Anthony Moreno, aka Boxing is Bullshit, aka Heel Synergy, aka whatever. This has been the Lights Out Podcast. We'll see you next time. Be good. Take care. Peace. Boom. Woo! Let's go, man.